Artificial intelligence, or AI for short, is something that's creating a lot of interest in photography communities at the moment, with a great deal of you who seem to be afraid that artificial intelligence, AI, is going to replace you as a photographer. Now, the advances in AI, in image generation from Midjourney, DALL-E, all those sort of things, Adobe with its Firefly, which is just integrated into Photoshop Beta, are all very interesting, mind-blowing, powerful, etc. But I'd like to challenge the idea that they're actually going to replace you as a photographer, or at least replace most of you as a photographer. If we think about the different sorts of photography where people can actually earn a living, let's start off with wedding photography, which is probably the most retail type photography. Is anybody going to want artificially generated images of their wedding? I'd argue not. They want real memories of the occasion. Same with any sort of event photography. Studio portraiture. Is anybody going to want an artificially generated image of their child? I'd argue not. They want the real thing, what their child really looked like, the real image. Then we move into the commercial world. Stock photography. Yeah, I can say that AI generated imagery is probably going to replace stock photography. But is anybody really earning an actual living making stock photography these days? I don't think so. The flood of images on the internet, this is a penny market. People make pennies doing it. It's a side hustle that some people do for fun. But I don't think anybody's making a living doing stock photography. Then we look at commercial photography. Do we really think the likes of Heinz, Nike, Adidas are going to invest millions of dollars, millions of pounds in advertising campaigns just for some 16-year-old kid to generate an AI image on Midjourney 20 minutes beforehand in order to fill their adverts up? I really don't think that's likely. Now, at the bottom end of commercial photography, you've got your local hobby businesses, people who perhaps take photographs of who need photographs of their jewellery that they make and sell online. Those people, probably AI would replace you, but are they using you anyway? And is it a profitable line? I can see that if those people can take a photograph on their mobile phone of their wares, feed it into some sort of AI engine that can clean it up and make it look presentable for the web, that they will do that rather than using your services. But as I say, is anybody really making a living from stock, those sort of pack photography for small paying clients? There are probably one or two big studios who treat it like an absolute production line, and I'm sure those guys will just incorporate the AI into their process for those who aren't technologically aware enough to do it for themselves. But where AI, I think, will make an impact, and this is what you really need to think about if you're trying to make a living from photography, is actually skilled photographers who know how to use AI in order to enhance their work. So I'll give you an example from my own work. Recently, I agreed to do a day of taking photographs of kids in their outfits from a stage performance that they'd been part of for a local dance school. So 30 kids, 30 sessions, 5 minutes each, all through the day, shot on a grey background, plain grey background, doing their poses and stuff. So when it came to edit these images, something that I noticed was, and I noticed it on the day, and I've been trying my best to clean it up, but it wasn't really working, is their outfits shed a lot of fibres on the floor, on the grey floor. So when I came to edit the sessions, the parents had been promised maybe 4 or 5 images and different poses from the sessions, because I'd never really done 5-minute sessions before, to be honest, and I wasn't sure what I'd get from it. But when I reviewed the images, there were easily, for most kids, 10 to 15 decent, different poses that could be presented to the parents. But when it came to editing, cleaning up the floor well in Photoshop was taking forever. Now, there are lots of hacks and tricks where you just blur the background and spread it out, but it looks artificial and it's not the standard of work I want to turn out. So it was taking forever. Literally, I spent a full 8-hour day and I managed to turn around 20 photos. And most of the time it was spent cleaning up the floor. So, looking for a solution, I bought a plugin. I'll put a link below to the plugin that I used, which felt quite expensive at the time, which was supposed to use artificial intelligence to clean up the floor. It's called Retouch for Me, I believe. Now, it wasn't perfect. There were scenarios in which it didn't do a good job, certain images, particularly where kids did the splits and that sort of thing. It seemed to struggle to work out where the floor was and where the kid was, and it didn't clean it up very well. I had to build a mask so that I built an action to run the plugin to clean up the floor, and then I built a mask to reselect the subject and delete anything the plugin had done to the subject, because it would make odd adjustments to the textures. Now, that took the average of 4 hours to turn a kid's set of photos down to 45 minutes. Could the AI plugin have done it on its own? No, it couldn't. It took me knowing what it was doing, understanding how to fix it, how to correct it, how to adjust for it, where it was appropriate to use it. But that meant I was able to present galleries that had 15 to 20 photos in for each child from their 5-minute session, rather than the 4 or 5 that at most I could manage if I was going to operate on a reasonable time scale. So for me, I think what you have to be wary of as a photographer, if you think AI is going to impact your business, is not the AI itself. It's other photographers who are taking the time to think about how to use the AI to enhance their business and make their workflows faster. I mean, the latest Photoshop release is really interesting. Imagine if you could just type into Photoshop, remove all pimples. Or if you've got a series of images of a particular person and they've got a cut on their right knee, for example, and you can just say to it, remove the cut from the right knee of the subject, and it will remove it from all the images. These are real time savers that AI can give you, or potentially can give you in the future. Then when it comes to compositing, possibly, if you do compositing in your workflow now, AI could speed that up. But I don't think the AI is ever going to truly replace you as the photographer. A photographer who knows how to use the AI to produce what appear to be genuine images that are just retouched faster, edited faster, composited faster, corrected faster and easier, or what will replace you. Now, it's brilliant to get everything right in camera, but as technology evolves, that's becoming less and less important. And that's the crux of it. AI will allow people with less photographic skill to speed up their workflows, and recover images that wouldn't necessarily have been usable before. But those people are not going to do well against a skilled photographer who also knows how to use the AI. So I would urge you not to hate on the AI, not to try to ignore it. Just try to think about where you can use it to make your work better, faster, but still authentically your work. I'm sure you've got an opinion on this. Tell me in the comments below, and I'll definitely get back to you. Speak soon.